Are we live? Hopefully we are live. Let me check something out. Didn't mean to go live. Good. Hopefully everything works. And that. Well, welcome to Deep Dish Football Live. After a month of hard working and toiling, because I'm a caveman, I finally learned how to use the new broadcast equipment, new camera, new microphone, new computer, and everything else. Thanks again for the donations in January. This is what it went to: the new camera, new laptop, new microphone, and everything else. This is Deep Dish Football Live. It's been a long time, but I'm just happy that everything is working. This is going to be a little bit of a quick Deep Dish Football Live. Thank you guys so much for joining. And just thank you guys so much for your patience. That really means a lot. Your patience means so much to me right now. But this is the new video and everything's new. New camera, new microphone, new everything else. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is also coachbigpete@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Also got the free recruiting questionnaire. Recruits, make sure I have your information filled out on deepdishfootball.com. Visit deepdishfootball.com. Also, again, my name is Peter Lineberg, aka Coach Big Pete, publisher of Deep Dish Football. Just a little bit of a quick tidbit snap. Deep Dish Football Live will be the next 2 Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete will be at 2 p.m. on Sunday on the Coach Big Pete page. Follow Coach Big Pete on Facebook as well. Check it out. Follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well, please. All right. So, let's talk about the season so far. Now, we've had a lot of interesting times with COVID and had some games canceled. We have some seasons that have ended. Am I surprised? I talked about this earlier in a video 3 weeks ago. No, I am not surprised. I think most of the things that we gathered that was going to happen has happened. And I'm just happy again. Those kids got to play high school football. Those kids are playing high school football. We have 3 more weeks to enjoy the rest of the season. I know some teams have canceled their season due to COVID, also due to multiple sports being played, especially spring's getting a full season. And I believe that they're playing in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, as well, which is absolutely beautiful. Those spring sport players deserve to be playing. Last year, they missed their whole season, and I'm just happy to see that they're playing spring sports as well. Finding games has been, I've been emailed by coaches, DM'd by coaches to find games, and there is a lot of teams still looking for games, and I know some cancellations have happened. I know in NUIC, Dakota canceled the rest of their season. I know IC, they're out for 2 weeks. They were supposed to play Wheaton Academy this week. They're not going to play them, and they were supposed to play Bishop Mack next week. They're not going to play them due to COVID. But again, it is part of the whole situation. And again, the main thing is wash your hands, social distance, and get that vaccination. Let's get all this stuff taken care of. Let's push it to the burner. Let's get some high school football played. The most important thing again is just get vaccinated. I cannot stop preaching it. I just got my first vaccination yesterday, so it was a lot of fun and it was easy. Big shout out to DuPage County Health; they did a wonderful job as well. Again, we talked about parody. There was going to be a lot of parody, and it has happened. What was up was down. What is down was up, and just literally, these kids haven't played football, and I think after week 3, we can say that literally the rust is finally off, because there were a lot of mistakes, especially when you look at huddle. There were a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of blown coverages, a lot of interceptions of kids running on the wrong routes, but that's expected. But I think this week we're going to have a little bit more of a stable football game. I'm expecting a lot more bigger scores, especially with more of a running game attack as well. Big shout out, by the way, talking about running attack, Joshua Brown of Willowbrook. He is having an unbelievable season running back Joshua Brown from Willowbrook. These are just a couple shout outs to James Cooper from Harlem High School. He's having a magnificent, magical season. He, for 2 straight weeks, has scored 6 touchdowns. He is special. Glover from Benton High School down south. He's having a miraculous season as well. Keep an eye out for Toriano Tate of DeKalb. He is impressing a lot of people. Definitely a name to keep an eye out for. Jacob Deroser from Rochester. He is now the leading rusher in Rochester Rocket history. A big shout out to Jacob Deroser. Big shout out to Geneva football. Yes, I got my mention of Geneva football. Geneva football deserves it. They're having a great season. Those kids are competing, and Geneva is looking good. Some of the teams that we were expecting to have success, they're not having success, and some of the teams that we were expecting not to have success, they are having success, and that's Parody for you. This is a spring season, but again, and someone asked me in the email today was, how do you think it's going to show up into 2021, the fall season? My personal feeling for the fall of 2020 season is that the first week of the 2021 season is going to be unbelievably great football. There's going to be less mental mistakes. That's just my personal feeling. I think this 2021 season, fall season, there's going to be a lot of tight, clean football being played. That's just my personal feeling. Because of the break, there's less of a break now with the kids. So they end at the end of April. So you're thinking about 4 months till they get back onto that field and they're playing football again. That's beautiful. Unlike the break that you usually get, which is 9 months, if I'm not mistaken, 9 months. Yeah, 10 months. So this is beautiful. This is going to fit well for that fall season, especially if you have a lot of young kids on the roster. If you got a lot of starters at sophomores and juniors, look out for them in the class for the 2021 fall season. We got to talk about that. We talked about COVID. We talked about that. Just a quick reminder too, and I'm going to say this again, and I do this every year now. IHSA football conspiracy theories are a joke, and there's been a lot of conspiracy theories, especially not helpful with certain personalities in Illinois high school football that have been spouting IHSA football conspiracy theories. Unless it is pure fact, it is not. And the person says, "Well, don't quote me on this or any of that stuff." Something's up. So don't believe that all that BS. Simple as that. It's for you to make the smart decision and understand what you're listening to, what you're watching. Do not believe any of these BS, fake IHSA football conspiracy stuff, especially if it's coming from a forum or a message board. If you're getting your information from a forum and a message board, you might as well just put on the tinfoil hat. Let's be real. You might as well just put on the tinfoil hat. No doubt about that. All right. Just a quick reminder. Because of the fundraising in January, I offered to give free advertisements to local businesses. This is absolutely free. So please check these fine businesses out. 1, Jack's Place in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. A great place, great for bar and gaming. Check it out. Jack's Place, Chicago Ridge. You must be 21. It's a nice little bar. Keep an eye out for it. Jack's Place in Chicago Ridge. Next, AC Graphics, graphic design. Check it out on acgraphicdesign.com. acgraphicdesign.com. Get your graphics done at AC Graphics. Coach Clausen does a wonderful job. Check it out, AC Graphics. And the last one, Susie Sheehan, State Farm Insurance, Lockport. Keep an eye out. Check it out. Susie Sheehan, State Farm, Lockport. I put it up on the Facebook. Check it out. Scroll down a little bottom, you'll see it. Susie Sheehan, State Farm, Lockport. She does a wonderful job. Check it out. All right. So this is a small list for games of the week, but this is just, again, a little bit to wet my whistle because it's Deep Dish Football Live. A big game that I felt that I checked out was being played today, if I'm not mistaken, is Piatone versus Lyle. That's a very interesting game. Big shout to Piatone. To Coach Tully, he's doing a wonderful job at Piatone. Piatone football is looking great this season. Coal City versus Wilmington. Arias is he's having a hell of a season with Coal City. Wilmington, what can you say? Stifling defense, great run offense. Keep an eye out for, they have a great athlete. He's also a kicker, too. 6'3", 6'4", definitely a kid to watch out. Next game, Nazareth versus Marist. Nazareth is looking good. Aiden Piper at quarterback. Marist, good defense, good offense with Dontrell Jackson. They got a wide receiver that transferred out of St. Rita to Marist. That's definitely a game to look out for, especially to see how Marist's how they pressure Aiden Piper at quarterback for Nazareth. Next game, and this is part of the whole Fox Valley Conference, but I'm going to say this right now. Crystal Lake Central they're looking great. Coach McLaughlin's doing a wonderful job with Crystal Lake Central. They have a hell of a passing attack. Keep an eye out for Crystal Lake Central. Prairie Ridge versus Cary Grove, and again, some of these games might be canceled. Hopefully, I guarantee you 2 or 3 games are canceled, but just check it out. Prairie Ridge versus Cary Grove. Prairie Ridge, they got a little bit of an upset. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, but Cary Grove is looking good as well. Definitely, again, to keep an eye out for, especially with 2 heavy run offenses. Next, Sycamore versus Morris. Morris, their quarterback, doing a good job. Good passing attack as well. Sycamore, they have a young quarterback to keep an eye out for. I forget, first name's like Eli or something. Definitely a game to check out as Sycamore takes on Morris. Next game, Richmond Burton versus Woodstock North. Woodstock North, my old head coach, Coach Schroeder, working a good job with Woodstock North. Richmond Burton, they're world beaters right now, but should be a good game. I'm going to give a little slightest edge to Richmond Burton because of that stifling offensive line. Next game, Harlem versus Hanahu, especially if Harlem, James Cooper. I want to see, again, if he's breaking records. It'll be interesting to see what he does against Hanahu. If he gets the 6-7 touchdowns, geez. The kid's an absolute stud. Next game, Oswego versus Oswego East. A very interesting game, especially with that Oswego defense and a few of the young players to keep an eye out for. They have an athlete, Tonalia, plays tight end and wide receiver. Definitely a kid to check out. Oswego East, good offense. Keep an eye out for Abdor. He's an athlete from Oswego East. He's class of 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Class of 2023 or 2022. He's definitely a kid to keep an eye out for. Darquill Sanders from Oswego East. He's a hell of a player. Probably one of the top defensive backs in the state. Oswego East also, I'm forgetting the kid's name. He's a good linebacker as well. It's going to kill me. Next game, LincolnWay East versus Lockport. Lockport is on fire right now. Lockport is on fire. And this is the big chance for them. They're taking on the big dogs. This is the biggest stage of them all, going against LincolnWay East. LincolnWay East, they're good. They got a good young quarterback in Walsh. Jack Tremblay, a wide receiver. Good running attack as well. Strong senior running back group going against a strong Lockport defense and an offense that's unbelievable. Keep an eye out for Hayden Timasek. Also, they got an underrated group of wide receivers. Next game, Rock Island versus Sterling. For me, again, Rock Island, Eli Reese. Remember that name, Eli Reese, a quarterback. He is just doing a magnificent job from Rock Island, and he's taking on Sterling. Sterling's a tough team, good offensive line, good, solid defensive line. They can penetrate it. They still got one of their top defenders back. He hasn't graduated yet. At Sterling, should be an interesting game as Rock Island takes on Sterling. And my last game, Murphysboro versus Benton. Keegan Glover, he's having a hell of a season against a strong Murphysboro defense. We'll see how it happens. Murphysboro lost to Heron, if I'm not mistaken, in week 1 or week 2. So it should be interesting. Again, this was a small thing. I'm going to answer your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And, and there's no comments. Not bad. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Again, I do apologize. This was quick, but this is the first Deep Dish Football Live in a long time that's covering a season of football. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Good game against Stag. Stag, for me, Stag is still got some young players. I think Bradley Bourbonnais is going to win that game. I still love Bradley Bourbonnais' speed. Grayson Dexter. It'll be very interesting to see Bradley Bourbonnais. Like I said, this is a great spring for Bradley Bourbonnais. I know they lost. I think they lost their last game, if I'm not mistaken. This is a great setup for them for the fall of 2021. Who's the best team you have seen? Batavia. Batavia is great. Quincy, Notre Dame, unbelievable. I didn't know Quincy, Notre Dame was in 2A. I just found that out. Quincy, Notre Dame's in 2A. I'm probably wrong, but it was says on one of the polls it said Quincy, Notre Dame's 2A. So I like what I saw from Quincy, Notre Dame. Maine South is unbelievable. Maine South, I thought by my fault. I thought two players transferred to out of state. They came back and are playing in the spring season. Those are great additions to Maine South. Maine South looks great in their seniors. Maine South is going to look even better when they get into the fall. Glenbrook North, just tough. They're missing a couple big playmakers in Glenbrook North, no doubt about that. Oh, Rochester! I forgot about the last game. I forgot that the Leonard Bowl, Rochester versus Sacred Heart Griffin. That is always a huge game. Rochester's the running attack. That's the key right now for their season. It's always funny whenever there's a weakness in Rochester, they go to their strength. And Rochester's running attack is great, and especially Hank Beatty at quarterback. He's unbelievable. He's unstoppable. Sacred Heart Griffin. Sacred Heart Griffin, to me, again, those young players are filling into their roles great. And it's going to be a great game. It's going to be, my personal feeling, it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think Sacred Heart Griffin thing is, again, make Hank Beatty uncomfortable and make him make mistakes. Simple as that. Who are the top players that I've seen? I don't talk about injuries. That's one of my rules. Who are the top players that I've seen? Petrucci, wide receiver, tight end for Maine South. Kid's a beast. Bloomington, I forgot the kid's name. Lopez. He's small, but he'll kill you. Glenbrook North, they've got Rowe, who is junior. He's a sophomore, junior quarterback. He's going to be a great addition to Maine South. I saw him throw one touchdown. Batavia, defensive line for Faku, their defensive tackle. He's a hell of a player. Erweiler is always good. He's going to NIU. Offensive line, Jonathan Smith. Harrigan, he's a hell of a player. Mojo Wirtz, a hell of a player too. Go to Quincy, Notre Dame. Ike Wiley. That was a miraculous play. Ike Wiley throws it up for a prayer and ties the game against Bloomington to go into overtime, and they win the game. Ike Wiley, he's a senior quarterback at Quincy, Notre Dame. He's a hell of a player as well. St. Charles North, Newman, he's a hell of a player. No, he's another hell of a player. George Litkin, linebacker from St. Charles North. Unbelievable. He is going to be one of the top linebackers in the state, no doubt about it. Yes, it is. That East St. Louis offensive line, that East St. Louis offensive line is not It is just crazy how good that offensive line is. That's an offensive line coach's dream right there. That's an offensive line coach's dream right there. And you have Tyler Macon, who, if I'm not mistaken, enrolled into the University of Missouri. You get a young quarterback behind a great offensive line, and he's still learning his spot. And you got that wide receiver core of East St. Louis. That's scary. And I consider East St. Louis the best team in the state of Illinois. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. East St. Louis is the best team in the state of Illinois. Sorry about that. Great point, Bob Thomas. Elk Acevedo, thank you for a comment. Let's see if I go up and, Alex Acevedo, thank you for the comment. Bob Thomas, thank you for the comment as well. This has been Deep Dish Football Live. This is a miracle. I'm telling you right now. I didn't think this was possible in about a week. But in a month, finally, we got Deep Dish Football Live. I'll be back here again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete is 2 p.m. on Sunday. We'll go over some of the scores and all the highlights and everything else. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal below. Follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And have a lovely, lovely night. And let's get ready for week 4 IHSA football, spring football.